Well, from a distance, quite a number of people are worried about how Accra and what Accra has turned into. From the plan we saw, some of us saw, and what it was that the first president of the Republic of Ghana wanted this city to be, and other towns indeed to be like. It's not clearly what it is. We have gone to the best of schools. Our leaders have gone to the best of countries. Most of their children live there. So once in a while, you find them going outside to visit them. Yet, we cannot implement very smooth town and country planning strategies to be able to afford us a very beautiful city. I'm not sure you are proud of the Accra we have right now. If anybody landed here at the airport and moves just away from it, some few kilometers away, we're going to be seeing a lot of things. The Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority is a regulatory body for spatial planning and management of settlements in Ghana. The authority operates at the national and 16 regional offices. Indeed, it has the Ministry of Local Government and Decentralization and Rural Development having its oversight responsibility over the authority. They are responsible primarily for ensuring the sustainable development of land and human settlements through a decentralized planning system, ensuring judicious use of land, and creating an enabling environment for district assemblies to better perform the spatial planning and human settlement and management functions. So you can tell that there's a role they play. As to whether they are playing it, would have to ask the question, because, of course, the man himself is here, one of the men, Dr. Benedict Mensah Arkhurst, is Deputy Director, Spatial Planning. And thank you very much, and good morning.
Good morning.
Absolutely.
Your viewers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here to talk about spatial planning, which is very critical for our sustainable development.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Biadela is here. She's not in any way from spatial planning. She's here with us.
I'm from Dominion Planning.
Absolutely. But tell me, there's a lot of questions, and of course, the reason why Reverend Emmanuel Quarcoopome Sackey is also going to be joining us pretty soon to discuss all these things. From where he's coming from, I mean, he understands it, because we understand that the lands are largely vested in families and stools who must collaboratively work with people like you, because we also understand it's multifaceted. District assemblies would have to come in and all of that. But I've read your responsibilities and duties. What it means is that if today we want to mark you with what has happened on the ground and what you have also done here, we should not only be marking you zero, it should run into the negatives. We should sack all of you and take our salaries back. Defend yourself, sir.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the opportunity.
Right.
As you talked about in the beginning, in your early statements, we exist at the national and also the 16 regions, but we have our operatives at the district assemblies. So when you go to the district assemblies, we have the physical planning department. And in the past, they were part of us. We were all the town and country planning department. So in 2016, they passed the law, Land Use and Spatial Planning Act, which means that we have to support the decentralization agenda of the government. So because of that, we transferred them to the local government service.
Okay.
So currently, we are in charge of their technical capacity in terms of issuing them with technical directives on spatial planning to help them better perform their spatial planning functions at the district assemblies. Yeah, oftentimes people say that when it comes to Ghana, there is poor planning.
Is there not?
There's nothing like poor planning, because if you say poor planning, the question that I sometimes ask them is it that the plans that we have prepared were poorly done, or the issue is about implementation? Yes, so the issue is about implementation challenges that we have. You rightly said that Kwame Nkrumah, if you look at, even he started under Gogisbeck when he had the 7-year long-term plan. Kwame Nkrumah also had a 10-year plan to develop Accra. So for the plans are there. There have been a lot of plans. Accra is heavily built up. And when you go to about the 29 municipal assemblies which form the Greater Accra metropolitan areas, the plans are there. But the issue, there's a sharp contrast between what has been planned for and what is actually happening on the ground. So it is the implementation of the plans. That is where there is a challenge. But there's nothing like poor planning.
I see.
So in terms of our functions, we've been performing our functions creditably and very well. But the issue is the implementation challenges, which is multifaceted, as you said, because the implementation is a collective responsibility between we, the planning authority, the landowners, and other government agencies. And also, there is also the issue about resource constraint. Last week Friday, I went out with one of the physical plan officers who were going on an inspection. So when I looked within his municipality, when I saw the level of construction that was going on, I told him that the job, it is not possible that they can do the job because they had about very few building inspectors, and these building inspectors are supposed to engage in development control. And if you look at the expanse of development going on within his municipality, he has about 3 building inspectors who are supposed to move around to ensure that developments that are going on is in conformity with the plans. But that is not the case. And in this case, we, the planning authorities, will be blamed. But there is the issue about resources. They need vehicles. They need to move around to be able to stop developers from encroaching on critical ecologically sensitive areas like wetlands, open spaces, and all that. But they don't have those resources to do.
I see.
So that is the issue.
Well, because I said poor planning, because obviously if you have a plan and what we are seeing is not what is implemented, then it defeats the purpose of the plan. Yeah. So it's not even there at all. That's why I mentioned that.
Yeah.
But the point, before Biadala comes in, paint a picture. Take an area here in Accra that was meant for something else, and because of these bad practices, it's been turned into something. I want to have a mental picture of what really you are saying. Is there a particular place you can use for me that it was intended to be something beautiful, describe it, and now what it is right now?
When you go to Old Fadama area.
Old Fadama.
Yes, we had a plan.
Do you know where Old Fadama is?
The Kolebu, the Kole area.
Okay,
yeah, where we have,
what to be
yes, one of the biggest slums. That area was intended for a recreational area. And if you look, the plan was prepared around 1985. If you look at the plan we have currently, the plan. It's a very beautiful plan because of the topography and also the soil, the nature of the soil there. The plan was prepared that that area we should have a football field with other recreational areas within that enclave. But if you look at over the years, that plan was not implemented, and now squatters had found their way to that area. So the whole place is now turned into a slum. And we remember that in the SWA MPP government, I think they tried to retrieve some of the land, about 80, where we have the yam sellers that were relocated here. So that was part of that recreational area plan. And when that was done, the authority was invited to come out with a plan. And we reverted back to the plan, the original plan for that area, that they should maintain that area for that recreational purpose. And even currently, when this government came, we had an engagement with them. And there were several tests that were done that looking at the activities that had gone on within that area, they cannot use the land for development because chemicals and other things have infiltrated the land. So now you cannot use the land for that
recreation anymore.
Yes.
So we are going to sell the land?
No, the land will not be sold. There are plans. Now we are looking at other alternatives that we can use the land for to ensure that that particular land is used sustainably. If you look at other areas, when you go to Tama West, if you look at the Ramsar side, currently people are building all sort of, doing all sort of development within that Ramsar side. And that side, if you look at the nature of the area, it was supposed to be a flat plain. So all the water is coming out from all the areas collects within that area. So that contributes to the flooding situation that we have currently in Accra because
people are building.
And the assembly is also not giving permits for that area because it's a wetland. And within our law, you cannot use a wetland for development. And because they also do not want to implicate themselves, they also decided not to give permits. So they've let people to develop the sites without giving them permits. So that is the situation that we have. And when it comes to within Accra, there are other ecologically sensitive areas that people were not supposed to develop. But now people have developed heavy structures within those areas. So that is accounting for some of the issues that we have in Accra.
So today when I go to the Ramsar site and I destroy all the buildings, I might be right.
Yes, you might be right. But the issue is about whether we have the gut to be able to ensure that the plan that we have planned for that area is implemented. So that is the issue.
I see.
Is it that you don't have the authority to persecute all these people who go against your laws? Or is it a matter of you're scared to carry it out? Or what then is the issue? I see a lot of land guards having wild authorities coming as though they have the last say when it comes to lands, and even whether the land is a waterway, like you say. But is it that your authority or your office doesn't have the right to persecute these people, or you're just not enforcing that part of it? So
the planning authorities or the district assemblies, they are also planning authorities on their own. So they are responsible for prosecuting the offenders, those who goes against, even it is in the Act 925. If you develop without a permit, the assembly can take you to court and can prosecute you and take you to court. Either you'll be fined or you can be jailed for not getting permits before developing. Yeah, so it is within the mandate of the assemblies to do that prosecution. As a Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, we are a regulatory authority. So we can come in if we see that the district assemblies are not performing their spatial planning functions. So we can, through the Minister for Local Government, issue sanctions to some of the officers or the assemblies who are not performing their spatial planning functions. So as the authority, we are the last resource. We cannot go ahead and prosecute offenders or those who flout development control functions of the assembly. But we will advise or compel the assemblies to ensure that they perform their functions. And if we see that they are not doing that, then we can recommend to the Minister for Local Government to do that. Recently, a university sued the authority that we had sat down for an assembly to flout a development control function. So we're taken to court, and we, in the court, we made the judge aware that the onus lies on the assembly. The first responsibility lies on the assembly, so that the applicant who sued the authority should have sued the assembly first. If all those efforts did not yield any result, then that is where the authority comes in. But that applicant could have petitioned the authority for us to intervene. But you cannot go ahead and sue the authority because the district assemblies are also planning authorities on their own, even though we have oversight responsibilities on them. But when it comes to certain critical natural assets like forest, Ramsar sites, ecologically sensitive areas, we as the authority, we manage those spaces. So if you take forest reserves, for example, if you want to change or develop a forest reserve, the law says that it has to go to Parliament. Parliament will have to approve. And the reason why the law made it so is that so that nobody can just go ahead and be changing other ecologically sensitive areas and start developing. Because if we leave it to the assemblies, they can just, out of maybe political pressure, go ahead and be changing all those. So we put it in the law that there are certain natural assets that if you want to change the use, you have to go through a very complex process. It will have to end up in Parliament before you can change those areas. So one of the areas, the Ramsar side is an example. So that is why the assemblies are handicapped. They cannot give permits to those who are developing, and they've also sat down for now people to be encroaching and developing anyhow, which is
But it doesn't
affecting.
make it any better.
Yes, so that is the issue that we are confronting. We are confronted with, but the authority is doing a lot to ensure that.
Are you?
Yes, we are doing a lot. So some of the things that I can say is that we've been doing yearly monitoring of all the assemblies in Ghana. So through our regional offices, we do periodic monitoring. We now look at their functions, what they are supposed to do, whether they are doing, what are some of the challenges, what are some of the success stories. And out of that, we come out with training models on areas that we've seen that they are falling short or where they have weaknesses. We ensure that we come out with training models to train them to better perform their spatial planning functions. So that is what we are. And we're also doing a lot of education, engaging landowners, engaging families, because they control or they own the lands. In other jurisdictions, there shouldn't be a problem if government doesn't own the land, because once the assemblies determines what you do with the land or the use of the land, there shouldn't be a problem. If we are enforcing the plans, you can own your land, but you cannot use it anyhow. You have to conform to the plans that we have. In other advanced countries, that is the situation. But oftentimes people say that because the lands are not government lands, that is where we have that problem. But if you have a very robust enforcement regime, we shouldn't have that problem.
Who gets to enforce it? Because then I'm now confused, right? So yours, to an extent, is just monitoring and evaluation.
Yeah, so
That's the extent to which you go.
Yep.
You don't have prosecutorial powers where you can take anybody to court or whatever, and you can't.
No, we can take someone to court. But as I said, when the issue happens, the first step is the district assembly. They have that powers. The Local Governance Act 936 give them that prosecutorial powers to be able to prosecute those who develop without a plan or those who flout the special plans that have been prepared. So that is the first step. They have to take that step. If they don't, then we come in through the Minister for Local Government. He can now force them or ensure that they take that step.
So everything lies with the assembly?
Yes.
Everything?
Yes.
Then we have failed?
We haven't failed. Yes. So we exercise that technical oversight over them. So as part of that, we issue technical directives. We issue directives through the Minister of Local Government to them.
Doc, I'm suggesting to you that we have failed because the man or woman who heads the assembly, whether metropolitan, municipal or district, is the representative of the president. So are the whims and caprices of the man or anybody who is aligned with the man, they could do anything. Indeed, that is why we see big men always start things and nobody can do anything to them. And yours is to say, oh, I'm offering technical advice, I'm trying to tell you not to do this and this and that. That's why I say you have failed. If the district chief executive chooses to do whatever he has to do, what do you have to do about it?
Yeah, so the authority can take the assembly on. That's what I said. That's why I said that, the district assembly, they are also under the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay, so wait, so I get it. So you can take the assembly on?
Yes, we can take the assembly on.
Have you taken the assembly on for anything? Because we are seeing a lot of things happening. Have you mentioned one?
Yeah, so I don't want to mention some, but we have through the ministry.
Right.
There are some assemblies. Sometimes we receive petitions on some of the things, more practices that are going on within the assembly. Sometimes the applicants have taken steps, but assemblies are not. So through the authority, through the minister, we can now issue some directives, which is legal or which conforms to the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act 925. Yes, so there are several assemblies that we've taken them on. We invite them, we look at the issues that have happened, and through that, through the advice of the AG, we've taken some of the assemblies on some of the spatial planning issues. Some of the issues too, then we as an authority, the law or the act empowers us to take certain actions. As I said, there are certain critical assets, natural assets that we don't leave it to the assemblies to manage. For those ones, we can even sue applicants if they fail to conform to the plans that have been prepared, even by the planning authorities.
I see.
So we haven't failed.
Okay.
We are still working.
Right, I'll come back because I still believe that when I say we, all of us have, including you as well. Because we'll come back. Okay. When we come back, our next guest will also join us. And at some point, we'll open the phone lines as well. Because I only hope and pray that you are as worried as I am. I don't know what we are bequeathing to children's children, really. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just because of some greedy people who just want to take the law into their own hands. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you very much for your time. We're still talking about Accra in crisis. May I stress, without any equivocation, that we are in crisis. Just as I left off from when we're going for break, we don't have anything to bequeath to our children. We don't have anything. I don't know how we can even go and break all the buildings that have been built in waterways, ecological spaces, and all of that. But there's a conversation on our hand. We don't have much time. Dr. Benedict Mensah Arkhurst is still here with us, Deputy Director, Special Planning. Reverend Emmanuel Quarcoopome Sackey, who we're expecting has joined as a servant of God. We'll talk about that. And so let's get into it. While we're away, he made us understand that they are doing their job as it is, evaluating, monitoring, technical advice. They are also training and all, or capacity building, everything. Sometime even going further to prosecute and all of that. What I sense is that there are political hands who choose to use state institutions and the power that they behold to make sure that they run through. That's what we're saying. You have come from a space where you are a family that owns the Accra lands, most of the Accra lands, very prime areas, and schools also you're connected with it, and also a professional. How do you balance all of these in the space of what they do?
I can't fault you by saying that there are political hands, but not only that, the real estate developers in this country and other powers that be, including chiefs, including chiefs, and all manner of people who have the financial muscle. They know court's delay in prosecuting such matters. So he'll use land guard to take your land from you by force. The only thing you can do is to go to court. And he knows in the next 20 years, you'll still be in court. You don't have that financial power to continue to fight the case. So he ends up taking the land or even your property. What is happening when it comes to land in Ghana, especially Accra, is nauseating. Poor men are losing their lands. Poor families are losing their land to the so-called big guns. I've been very deep into it. And I've encountered all manner of characters.
Tell me about them.
Most of them real estate developers. One has even told me before that he will use his political connection to deal with me. Then I asked him, do you have a classmate? Do you know my classmates? I've taken Bank of Ghana to court. I've taken the Catholic Church to court. Social Security and National Insurance Trust to court. And all manner of people. I'm in court right now with the Lands Commission.
The Lands Commission?
Yes. For mandamus. For refusing to implement what the orders of the court has stated since 2009.
Wow.
Our problem in Ghana, and for that matter, Accra, is too many corrupt people, and therefore they will never allow any system to work. And they have their evil partners who help them. Like you said, some are in government, some are in the security services, some use chiefs. They use all manner of people who have a kind of muscle to outmuscle you and take your land from you. There are issues when you go and report to the police. They will tell you they can't deal with the matter. I am telling you.
Why?
Because
powers that
The
be?
person that you have reported to the police, anytime his matter is sent to the police station, another superior police station will come and take the matter to that place. So the commander is fed up. He said, I'm no more going to handle this man's matter. Go to Accra Regional. And he was prepared. I said, well, so when I go, what would they say? He said, oh, I'll tell them. Because he will never hear about the case again, and he dies naturally. This guy that I'm talking about is a real estate developer. He has no interest in that land. That land was occupied by Bank of Ghana. And I took Bank of Ghana to court. And we'll be fighting till I won at the High Court to the Appeal Court. And now they have gone for certiorari in the Supreme Court. This man, as I'm talking to you now, he's working on the land.
As we speak?
As we speak, and I've taken him to court. He's working on the land.
So it's become a power play sort of a thing where they know everyone.
Yes. This man has built an office for the police station. And that's what all of them do. They have built police offices for police. Does the law allow that?
No, I don't think so.
That are individuals.
Yes, I see it.
Because there is
built
going
by
to be,
so and so.
Yes.
Built by so and so.
There's going to be conflict of interest.
What if the person is also engaged in?
Because if such a person is caught up by the law, you cannot deal with him as you would deal with any other person.
Right.
As human as we are. And therefore, I believe the government should sit up and look to these things. People are so frustrated when it comes to land issues. People are so desperate when it comes to land issues. Everybody is involved. Chiefs. Chiefs. The police. Some use soldiers.
Land guards.
Land guards. Lands commission. Land title registration. Survey and mapping.
Do you now admit that as for these people, they don't have any power with the things you have mentioned?
They do not have any power, but they have power because the law is behind them. You see, in Ghana, nobody is prepared to protest when things are going wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody is protecting their seat. So he sees the wrong thing going on. He's afraid to lose the seat. So we don't have people who are assertive when they have believed in something. When they be employed to perform a specific duty, if the powers that be is putting hindrances in their way, they are not able to rise and speak. We do not have such people in this country. I'm telling you. I have met so many people when I started dealing with this land issue. So many people. To the extent that I was even locked up. Yes.
For your own land?
For my own land. And the one who went to report me did not have interest in that land. That real estate developer I'm talking to you about.
Very interesting thoughts here. I don't know whether you also have some experiences. Maybe you want to call us 1 minute and let us know what exactly the issues are. The picture that is painted here,
It's terrible.
It's cannot be fixed. That's where I'm coming from. I don't have any hope. I don't know about you.
Well, I think that, like we always say, one conversation at a time.
Right.
You are the one who have first-hand info, pain, of what the things that have happened. And I know that you've had discussions about it. What do you think are some of the practical ways that we can start to solve these issues? You know, so that it's not just authority in books, but stuff that we can do practically to start fixing the issue.
The
so
first
we get our crowd back.
is for government to rise up and say enough is enough. There is no economic policy. There is no financial dredges that you sink when the city is in disarray. Nothing works if you have a problem with your land tenure system. Nothing works. Because when you talk about industry, it's land. When you talk about factories, it's land. When you talk about even government buildings, whatever you talk about, it's land. So if you are having that basic thing wrong, any other thing that we do will be wrong. Because the land is the foundation. So if the foundation is false, every other thing that you build on it will be false. That is the problem we have. So the government should look at the agencies who by law have been mandated to do the job to help the citizenry in this country.
Agencies such as Land Commission, Spatial and Planning.
Yeah. There must be a coordination. It should start from the chiefs. Because we have stool lands, we have family lands, and we have individual lands. Government only will get the land when it's been sold or uses an executive instrument to acquire it. So this is the first line of action. That the chiefs should straighten up. Lands Commission, land title registration, because that's where they do the registration. What is the due process that it goes through before a land is registered? How come that somebody has a land? He has documents on the land, but it will be registered for another person. So what it means is that the Lands Commission needs a radical shakeup. A radical shakeup. When government starts on Lands Commission, everybody will be whipping line. Because if the chief comes that register this land for me, they'll do due diligence and make sure that the right thing is done. Make sure that the right owner gets the registration. So the chiefs, the families who own the land, any other owners of land, that's one. Environmental Protection Council should be part of it. The Ministry of Environment should be part of it. Town and country planning, are they still there? Dog.
Land use and spatial planning.
Yes. They should be part of it. And they should be coordinating all these agencies. There are so many people involved in this land matter that all these people should be brought together under one umbrella so that their activities can be monitored easily.
Do you agree?
Yes, so I agree. If you look at some of the issues that he highlighted, if you have an area that you have planned for, you have a plan, and there are litigation issues, it means that now people will develop because 2 factions or 3 factions are fighting over the land. Then it means now the plan will not be implemented because now they will be building anyhow because they want to. So that is one of the factors that contributes to the poor state of our towns and cities. But that shouldn't have been a problem if our enforcement regime by the MMD is working. Because even though 2 factions are fighting, for us as planning authorities, our plans should conform to whoever wins the case should conform to our plan. But that is not the case. So that is one of the factors that is also contributing to some of the issues that we have. And in Accra, for example, when you want to develop, when you go to the assembly, they will give you a form to go to the Lands Commission to confirm whether you have title to the land. Yes, especially in Accra. And sometimes the process delay. And you have a developer who has money or financial resources to develop, and looking at the cost of construction and all that, if the assembly delays in giving the permits to that developer, he will go ahead to develop rather than seek for or come to the assembly for permits. So we have a situation where a lot of developers now start the development before coming to the assembly. And in this case, the assembly is now forced to regularize the development that the person had done. Sometimes, in most cases, maybe where the person is developing has been earmarked as open space or as a school, but he's building a commercial or residential structure. And now looking at the level of construction, it would be very difficult for the assembly to say that we are demolishing that structure.
Why should it be
Reverend
difficult?
talked about human face. There are other factors that come into play when it comes to.
But Rev just
that
asked you why it should be very difficult to demolish.
Because let me tell you,
So
I know some buildings were pulled down.
Yeah.
In those days, those buildings were costing around 500 million.
yeah,
I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. By Rollis, they are built in parks in Laboni. And you know the type of buildings in Laboni?
Yeah.
He pulled down more than 10.
yeah.
So why is it difficult?
Because
so-
you see, some of these you need punitive measures to whip people in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
It is the political. I remember when I was working at a district around 2011, we realized that a certain developer was developing in ecological sensitive area. So we did a report sent to the DCE, and the DCE told us that we should get the police to go and demolish the structure. And when we came at the office, the engineer and all that told me that, hey, please, my life and if the DCE will not take that step, and we want we, the officers, so that it will appear that we, the officers, have come to demolish. But the DCE didn't have that political will to do that. So we also stopped and we went back to do our normal work. Yeah, so it is the political will of the assemblies. Who is head? You cannot do anything without approval of the chief executive officer, who is the political head of the assembly. So if the assembly do not have the political will to do this kind of demolitions, then as an officer you are handicapped. There's nothing that you
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is it that the old towns are well demarcated than the new towns?
Which ones are the old towns?
Osu.
Osu is demarcated?
Yes.
Okay.
The streets are there.
Okay.
Every corner that you pass, there's a street. Every house is facing a street.
Okay.
La has the roads in there. Jamestown, where I come from,
The roads are in there.
the roads are in there.
Okay.
All the old townships are well developed. When I'm saying well developed, about demarcation.
Okay.
You understand? Why is it that the new towns rather are becoming slums?
Is there an answer to that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, if you look at Accra as a built-up, almost every area has a plan. And the issues that he highlighted, some of the litigation, some of the, if you look at the development control functions of the assembly, because then when in the old towns also, those, if you look at the population of Accra then, it is not like today. And now there is pressure on a lot of facilities, social facilities, and because people are coming in, so it has created a situation where now everybody is fighting for a space to ensure that they survive and take the opportunities, economic opportunities. And so the issue is about the district assemblies having that development control, that resources to be able to ensure development control, their development control functions are working. And also, and if you look at the permit fees that they get, the monies that they are getting from the permit fees, they should have been able to devote about maybe 30% or 20% to go back into the development control functions. But immediately the money comes into the assembly, they have other priorities. And so the development control officers, which comprise of the physical planning and the works department, it's not working. Sometimes they have one vehicle that they used to going around, and there are other issues. So that's why we have.
Okay, so Rosemary is on the line. She has a question for us. Good morning, Rosemary.
Yeah, good morning.
Great. We can hear you. We're good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the so far.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, I don't like the way people put their structures on the road, their buildings, everything in Ghana is better. In fact, this thing is really disturbing me, and I want to know as a citizen, when I see these things, what can I do about it? Because the people will be building their buildings, they're putting their buildings on the road, you're not even getting, and then, in fact, it's really, really disturbing me.
Right.
Yeah, so Rosemary wants to know what to do as a citizen. I mean, because we just looked at the fact that even some of the authorities, places we know we should go to to a police station to report these things, probably to a district's office to report these things. But so now what do we do as citizens?
Yeah, so depending on the area, you have to, the first step is to report to the district assembly. When you go to the works department, you can make that complaint, or the physical planning department. Sometimes we have some of the citizens petitioning the authority. You can also let the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority know. Once you know, we will all take the necessary step to contact the district office to ensure that that issue is solved.
How do they contact you? You have...
Yeah, so we have our phone numbers. We also have our email address. We have our offices within all the regions. But at the head office, we are the ministries. So if you report to the office, we'll be able to locate which particular assembly, and we'll take, because they are operatives, and we'll work with them. I
see. Of course, Reverend will say no, and of course, I also, because I've lost. I just wanted, there are two questions really, before Biadlagan. First off, there's this particular building close to the presidency. Is it at Dinkra Heights? That high, as close to the presidency, anybody could stay there and do anything to the president.
Any sniper can.
Who gave that particular? Are you worried about that, or the distance is okay? Or you don't want to talk about this because
no, for those kind of development, I think they need to get even clearance from national security and also the district. I don't know what transpired.
But you know the building?
Yes, I know the building.
The distance, is it okay?
Yeah.
And the height?
Yes, I cannot, I do not have much information. So I cannot
you don't have technical...
Yes, so I need to investigate to get to the bottom of it.
That's true. No, Dr. Arkhurst, that's right. So we'll leave Dr. Arkhurst out of the other. There's someone on the line, quickly. Will, if you can hear me, where are you calling us from?
Hello.
You on air?
Hello. I'm talking about the program that we are discussing.
Go ahead.
Please, you are talking about the land.
Yes.
I'm talking about our place, you know. Our place, we are passing a place to our house. It's a major road. But they built a house for there. We go to court. The time we started, we started the court. But they built a dinner after the end.
Which area
don't know
is
what
this?
Is happening.
Which area is this?
It is Abeka.
Abeka, particularly where?
Down south area, within down south area.
Do you know that place? No. Within where? Which area?
Abeka.
Yes, mention the specific place again.
It's a suburb.
The down south area, because you call people planning down south area.
I can't hear that particular. Damn stop.
We free pipe down. Okay, if it's free pipe.
Free pipe.
Okay.
Free pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Free pipe. If you can't free pipe, I can locate the place.
They said they are building along the street. On the road.
Okay.
And they've taken the people to court, and they're still building.
Actually, they're done. So they took the people to court when they started the project. Yeah. As at now, they haven't heard from the courts, but the building is almost done.
Okay, so we'll find out what is the issue.
Finally, is there any success story you can share with us to say that you went in and this magnitude of project was pulled down by the intervention of land use and special planning?
Oh, yes. Currently, even under GOtv, Greater Accra Resilience Program, there are some areas that were earmarked, or those areas are waterway, because the GOtv project is supposed to help improve the resilience of Accra as a city, especially in terms of flooding issue. Yeah, so there are about 17 MMD. Some areas, some structures were pulled down. We have pictures that we can even share, maybe in our next section. Those structures, there was no way those structures could remain, because if they remained, the interventions that we wanted to come up with were not working. So those structures, with the help of the assembly and the police, those structures were pulled down. So these are some of the success stories that sometimes we don't publicize.
You have to.
Yes, yeah, but
You have to.
in going forward, we'll let the world know.
Because if we don't know that, if I go and do the thing, it will be pulled down, I'll still go and do it. You know, Rev, by way of some final words.
Accra truly is in crisis. What we have at hand seemingly looks as if it's insurmountable. But I believe some of these things, you need a very radical shake-up for things to happen. And that radical shake-up should come from the top, from the presidency, to hold each and everybody accountable on that conveyor belt. To hold each and everyone. So now you go to the Minister of Lands, the Minister of Environment, Minister of Chieftaincy Affairs, to call the chiefs and talk to them.
Even churches.
Churches.
It's still the same. Local government, religious, and chieftaincy. They're all the same.
They're all the same. You know, all those agencies need to be whipped in line. But I believe that what we need to do as a people, and I've always spoken about it for so many years, any new development, government should go there first.
You say they don't have personnel. They don't have vehicles. They can't.
They have logistical challenges, but that is not an excuse. But
because you are saying
they are, yes, they are. I think the government is doing a lot to ensure that.
Are you sure?
Yes. So
I'm not saying it though.
Yes, so it's a gradual process. So I believe that.
Gradual when?
They haven't got
This,
to where you are
this
now.
problem has persisted for how many years? So many years.
Yes, so many years. So as I said,
and we have always paid lip service to it. It is now. We should do something now.
I see.
It needs a resetting.
Right, that particular place needs a resetting.
It needs a resetting.
I see. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether Doc will come back again.
Yeah.
Would you come back? Or the fire was too much, so you will come back? You come back.
Yeah, I've received a lot of fire.
Even more than this.
More than this.
I see. I trust you. Anyways, Dr. Arkhurst and Rev will come back again. We had to pull a Rev. Today is Rev's resting day, but we had to pull him. Yeah. We'll try not to put it on Monday again so that you can make some.
For the sake of country.
Absolutely. We are here.
Country.
Reverend Emmanuel Quarcoopome Sackey is a servant of God, man of many, many colors. Thank you very much for coming. Dr. Benedict Mensah Arkhurst is Deputy Director, Special Planning as well. Thank you very much for your time. Up next is a conversation away from land. But of course, when the first Christians also came in, I'm sure they got some land. I'll ask them, but we want to know where Christianity started from and where we are this time and what has transpired, whether or not we're doing it the right way, how they brought it to us. A lot of people have also had to ask some very controversial questions around these. We'll put all of those to our guests and get some understanding. Stay with us.